Hello. Welcome everyone. This is No Bullshit Gaming Podcast to another gamer session number 35. We are sharing actionable insights, dropping knowledge from our day-to-day user acquisition, game design, and ad monetization jobs. Also, discussing latest industry news from time to time while having so much fun. This is still 4 a.m. conference discussion vibe, so let's not forget. Let's not take it too seriously. Today we have Jakub Remiar, Felix Braberk, and myself, Matej Lančarič. And we are going to discuss Amplify, some Facebook setup and checklists, and then Remo got excited about the new game, which is in the soft launch in the market. So let's see what happens. But before
there
we
will
do
be
that,
Japan. Let's
yeah,
just say.
before we
Let's
do
just
that,
tease that.
how are you, guys? Everything's good?
Peachy.
Peachy, yeah.
Peachy. I'm doing Sober October. I started yesterday.
Yeah, Sober October. Yeah. How's that going? Because it's 9th, and
I got my water here. I got my water here. I had a good night's sleep, and I'm ready.
Sober October. What's even that? I'm doing Sober Life.
Yeah, yeah, Sober Life is fine. That's why I have my gin and tonic over here. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
For an Eastern European, Remo, you're not very,
Eastern European.
Yeah, it's not very Slovakian.
Yeah.
Dude, it should be moonshine, in your veins. That's proper Slovak.
That's Slovenia you're thinking about,
Borovička?
No. Well, homemade alcohol, of course. Not Borovička. It's bullshit. But, by the way, like last week, we didn't even talk about our amazing achievement. The live performance at PGC that we had on stage.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
You didn't even mention it.
Yeah.
I was so excited, and I actually forgot about it.
Yeah, based on the amount you two were trashed the night before, I think it was pretty amazing.
Oh, what do you mean?
What? What?
Well, we had a slow start, but then it turned out pretty good.
It turned out pretty good, let's say.
Oh,
yeah. Also have to
fun.
say props to Oscar for formulating some of the ideas and making the discussion much more lively. So definitely thanks for that one.
Yeah, well, he's very good at speaking about different things from game design perspective, right? So I guess he does it for a living.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Felix, what do you got? What do you have from the Amplify event?
Ooh,
Except the Sober October, which obviously
Sober October
didn't happen.
started after Amplify. And that was actually it was on purpose.
This reminds me one of my friends. He said he's not going to drink for a month, and then he got 4 exceptions or 4 weekends, so he was drunk over those weekends. And like, what do you mean? Like, those are exceptions. It doesn't count. So he basically was drunk the whole month, but except
the only way I'm breaking this Sober October is if we get 1,000 subs before the end of this month.
Okay, let's see. Guys, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, so we can see Felix shit-faced. It was quite a good look at PGC the second day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was amazing.
That was great look. Anyway,
yeah. Okay.
Let me talk a bit about Amplify. So on Friday, I was at Amplify Berlin, which is of course Applovin's own conference. It was a very, very nice event with publisher and UA people from across the world. Some serious heavy hitters were there. So probably I would say at least half of the world's mobile DAU was represented there in terms of companies big ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I need to get an invitation for next year.
Interesting metric.
That was just massive, some massive publishers.
Well, I guess that was this event had higher DAU than Decentraland. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right,
so anyway, I thought I could just share some things. Some sessions were quite good. Some were very corporate. But there were a couple of golden nuggets from 3 sessions on the day that I think actually would be worth sharing. So the day actually started off with a very quick and honest word from CEO and founder Adam Ferrugi. So it was a bit of a cold shower because basically he highlighted where Applovin was as a company, where they come from, and then kind of what's going on in our industry, headwinds. It was a real cold shower because he was just like, yeah, I wish this kind of was 18 months ago because then everyone would just be high-fiving and, So he didn't shy away from that, the growth rate in our industry is kind of, slowing down. And he highlighted the needs of finding alternative ways to monetize your user base, like other than IAPs and ads. And that's kind of like the red threads that were kind of the whole day what we're going through. So the first talk I wanted to talk about, which was a really more ad monetization focused talk, very interesting here. So it was a talk between their VP of Business Development and Daniel and Kate Saviskaya. She was the head of ad monetization at EasyBrain. So the big news that they released here is that App Open Ads will now be supported on Macs. So
Wait. These app open ads are those that are actually banned on Google from September 30th, which I guess didn't happen, right?
No, that's very different. So these App Open Ads are different to Google App Open Ads, and neither of them are banned. But so App Open Ads are a bit different from Google App Open Ads because, they only cover like 70% of the screen on Google. And like Applovin, which was the big news, they're not going to pull from that inventory. They're just going to mediate normal interstitial ads when you open the app, which is interesting because the shit thing about the Google App Open Ads was that it was notoriously known for having a super low eCPM. So like I asked Google, like what kind of eCPM can you expect from an App Open app in America? Android average was like $3.90 and iOS average in America was like $3. So super low. So essentially what happens is that if Applovin allows these, but it's mediated like from interstitial pool of inventory, essentially this will be twice as high, if not even more.
It should be more, right? It's like this, it's just a different interstitial placement.
Exactly.
Well, another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the only worry with App Open Ads is that it always kind of hurts retention, right? So they discussed on stage how to think about implementing these ads. And basically, the thinking was that you put a very high price floor. So you only serve these ads when that high price floor gets fulfilled. And they were talking a lot about how many tests they run on like hyper casual titles, and they saw like a 10% uplift in ad revenue. I'm sure I'm going to be testing this in the next couple of months on a couple of games. So I'll share the results here on the podcast. But I just wanted to ask you, Remo, from a game design's perspective, what do you think App Open Ads? Do you want to trash it?
Do I get this right that App Open Ads means app ad is the first thing you see when you open the app?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a rewarded video or static
interstitial?
Interstitial, okay. Yeah, I don't think so. That will like fly within like the usual 70-30, 50-50 gaming model, because I don't think so.
Because how is this different from special offers in your face when you open up the app?
Because it's a 30-second video, right?
They are related directly to the game that you are going to play and can give you a really nice boost in your progression.
That's a very good explanation. I just want to
very
hear.
Good one.
Yeah, it's fair.
Good.
It's fair
What's
enough.
Up with the hostility, Remo? Damn.
Yes,
There's
come on.
No hostility.
We are all friends here. What the fuck is going on?
Man,
I'm just asking.
Sober October, cranky man here. Jesus.
No. Like,
can you have like a happy October, Jakub?
The problem here that I see, like realistically, is that people are already concerned about the retention, which means they are concerned for these to be a churn point. And by you putting the churn point to the most first position as you can, meaning that you increase the funnel of the churn. If you put it somewhere down the line, you decrease the funnel. So that's my kind of reasoning here. That I don't think so it will fly that much. Hyper casual, of course, is a different beast. That's like a different, pretty much context to talk about this thing. But regarding a game that takes more than 50% revenue for IPs, I don't think so this will fly.
But then you can segment your players and then just show this to non-payers, and then you can.
Like if we are down to this kind of a squeeze tactic, like let's squeeze as much possible from a traffic that it's not monetizing. We also need to take into account that this lower traffic is of course having lower conversion IIPs and like lower buying power, but I'm guessing it also have lower eCPMs. So it's it don't usually fly in a way like these people are not buying. Let's show them a bunch of ads and at least we'll squeeze money out of them.
Yeah,
because usually they don't even the ads don't even make much money out of them.
That was the hypothesis from like 5 years ago. Like, hey, well, let's show ads to tier 4 countries and then we will make a lot of money. Like, yep, nope,
sure,
that's not how it works.
Anyway, so from
early days.
So from this session, the second most interesting thing that was announced was that Applovin Exchange will include branding demand that's been signed by an Applovin sales team. So a little background to why this is interesting. As you probably have realized from playing mobile games, like 80 to 90% of the ads that you see are gaming ads that come from performance campaigns. Probably that Machi's been running, right? So this is
Yeah,
great
that
because
was all me.
yeah, this is great because it's high ECPM, but it's also a bit shit because you're showing other games in your game, right? So branding demand has slowly started to creep into mobile games as game has become such a large like pool of supply. However, branding demand in mobile games is usually like a way smaller scale than performance demand and typically comes in at a lower ECPM level. Branding demand as well, if you don't know, it's typically like the budgets from like McDonald's, BMW, all Procter and Gamble's like sub brands. And the thing is about these brands is they have a shitload of advertising dollars to spend, and it's like a lot of budget that these guys spend. But the big difference is here that all the branding dollars always go through a gatekeeper, and the gatekeepers are agencies. So to unlock this massive pool of demand, you need to have an army of salespeople that service the agencies, taking their people out to lunches, dinners, like treating them to parties. And this has been out of reach for pretty much all mobile developers because you need to have salespeople to build relationships and unlock these crazy budgets. So I have a friend that did branding sales in Paris as an example of how crazy these budgets are. Like on one day, his agency contact calls him and tells him that Mercedes has a branding campaign that they want to run in the next 3 days, and they need to spend
Need, of course, need.
190K in 3 days. And guess what the success metric was, Mache?
Well, impressions for sure.
No, visibility.
How
Well,
can you measure that?
You don't. It's just
you don't.
branding budget that got doled out. You know, it's just
I
like we
just
need
brand
this money
awareness.
spent. Yeah, exactly.
Brand awareness. That's it. You
Yeah.
just need like a lot of eyeballs to see your ad, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, high five to you as well.
Yeah, I know. I was checking the camera the camera went out of focus. Okay, so
Perfect.
the announcement was that now essentially Applovin will take this overhead of having brand sales teams like for their clients' benefits, and it'll be interesting to see kind of how the spend in these campaigns are doled out to publishers. And I have a feeling that the loudest and largest gaming clients will probably have a slight advantage to get more branding dollars here. But let's see.
Okay, so if Mercedes need to spend 190K in 3 days, so what happens to developers? Like, how do they earn money from these budgets?
So typically, like how it's been done before is just programmatically with branding demand, right? But there hasn't been any company, or that at least I know in the gaming space, that has an army of branding salespeople. The
Okay,
only
but does this mean it's gonna increase the ECPMs, or like what?
yeah, it's going to increase the
Okay.
amount of like inventory or demand that's flowing on ALX. So basically, they
Okay.
have the salespeople, right? So like the only companies I know in our industry who have an army of their own branding salespeople is like OneFootball. I know they have 4 people here in Berlin that basically just sells their inventory to agencies. So it's common, not quite uncommon, but it doesn't like not exist. So that was exciting. But this brings us to probably the last session, which was, the penultimate session and on the ultimate session. And it was probably the most interesting because it was actually something completely new.
Ooh.
So don't roll your eyes, Remo.
I've seen this thing already.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, me too.
Applovin's new NFT marketplace, Vessel.
I thought I saw
So
the NFT wallet only, not the,
yeah,
the
so
marketplace.
Vessel is an
It's
all-in-one.
actually both.
It's both. Okay.
Yeah. It's an all-in-one marketplace where like marketplace and a wallet where you as a developer can get your players to easily access customized NFTs that your users can either buy, sell, trade, or convert to cash. It's right now a separate SDK from the Applovin SDK. So before you roll your eyes, Remo, and before you jump in with an opinion, let me just share what the case study was that they
He's
presented
already
to us.
biting his lips.
He
Looks
is.
like
He's triggered. He's triggered.
already.
All right. So they took Match 3D, studio and hosted a play to earn event with 3,251 Android users.
Oof. If it was
Interesting
3,250,
one,
that's not, yeah, that's not
51.
big. I know.
Open your ears, Machi. All right. Interesting here is that it's a match 3 game. So the user base is women over 45. That's kind of the average. And not really what you think as your normal crypto adopters. So the in game event allowed users to earn an NFT by placing first in a leaderboard ranked game event. The NFT was like a pro badge token that was visible next to your name, and it also allowed you to skip rewarded ads while still
Ooh.
getting the rewards.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, it had in game value, and you basically could redeem it, and it could be sold later on in the marketplace if you earned it. So, Remo, calm down. You're going to get to speak soon. Some data here. So, during the event, 12% more gold got spent in the app compared to other events. Rewarded video ARPDAU went up 31%. IAP sales went up 58%. Total usage in minutes went up 22% compared to other events. The gross sale value from the NFT sale was $2,304 with $936 in net earnings. So, in short, NFTs basically increase the engagement and the revenue during this event. That's what they were trying to say. So before I sound too much like a useful idiot and a walking Applovin billboard, some downsides that I see is Vessel is cleared by both Apple and Google Play Store. So they meet these guys' guidelines, which means that Apple and Google take a 30% cut, and then Applovin add on another 10% for themselves, meaning that you as a developer are left with 60%. And just to remind you guys, credit card processing fees in the real world, that's costing a business typically between 1.5% and 3.5%. So 40% is a lot. Now, Remo, what do we think?
I've seen this thing and was kind of surprised that it was even allowed on the stores, because based on the policies, it's pretty much directly talking about NFTs and everything. It's also kind of a store within a store, because if you open the Vessel thing, you have a list of games that you can kind of install, and then if you click on it, it actually redirects the link back to the like App Store. And then if you kind of go throughout the game, you have an option to do some kind of NFT shit, and then you go back to the Vessel wallet, and then you can interact with the thing. You pretty much connect it together, and you are able directly to sell things or buy things from the Vessel marketplace. If I understood correctly, in order to buy the Vessel currency, you need to go directly to Apple or Google. It's only Apple or Google, or is it on both?
Both.
Okay. So you need to go and purchase directly through the store itself. So if you are, if you want to put dollars into the game and convert them into something, you're getting the 30% cut. So that's the first thing, if I understood correctly. And then
I think it was all done through their app, but basically, since it's done through their app, basically they use Google or Apple Pay or whatever it is, and that's how they get their cut.
no. I mean, if I have $5 and want to then throw it to my game that
Congratulations.
I've been playing on
Good for
Vessel,
you.
and convert those $5 into Vessel currency or whatever was the name of the token, and then the cut is being taken, is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's because in the end, if I understood this correctly, we are already, from a developer standpoint, we end up already in a worse place that we would have end up like on the status quo, where it's more than 30% cut.
What?
Yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about.
No, me neither. Mate, what do you think about this, like, as an engagement thing? Because obviously, like, they're showing some cool metrics. I don't know if it's like as
Events
good the
normally
next event.
increase metrics like this normally. That's like effect
That
of
was
an
my main
event.
question as
Events
well. Like,
increase revenue, increase engagement. That's it. There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
And saying that this is only the effect of play to earn is, sorry, that's not true.
Yeah. Most probably, like, this was basically due to the event, not because of the NFT sales.
I guess the real test would be if they ran like NFT events like this, like more of them, and you see if basically it goes down to like normal other event levels, or if it's actually like still higher
No,
because of
you
NFTs.
could do A/B tests where you have NFTs and then sell it through Vessel, and then you have NFTs. Just call it in-game items, and then just
Yeah,
have it in.
that's my point here. That
Yeah, have it
if it's
inside
still
the game.
better to go without the crypto thing
Yeah,
altogether and just have the 30% cap, whereas here, if you are going to cryptocurrency,
yeah,
you're 40% plus cut
yeah,
out
yeah,
of
yeah.
developers' pocket. That was my main
Yeah.
idea.
Okay. So you
Because
just need to say like a simple man like me, like an idiot.
getting on my abstract level of design vectors helps you a lot.
Oh yeah, of course.
Anyway,
Hopefully we'll talk
dare
about
I
some
say though
vectors.
that this is probably the first time I see a crypto project in our industry that's been approved and is supported by Apple and Google Play.
Yes,
So
that's the
Yeah,
main
that's
point
that's
true.
of
what
this
makes
thing.
it super
Yeah.
interesting for me, at least. And like some of these
But for how long?
exactly, but like some of these high earning games, like high earning retention games, I could definitely see people being more willing to play longer and harder, or like taking more events more serious if they can get like a unique NFT.
But would this
Look,
also mean that if I'm a developer and want to do these NFT sales thing, I can just do it myself on the App Store?
Through Vessel.
Yeah,
but
but why do I
why?
need to go
But
through
why? Yeah,
Vessel?
because if I
If Applovin can do it, why I cannot do it?
exactly, yeah, exactly. If I don't if I
Hey,
don't violate any,
let's invite Applovin on, and they can tell us.
yeah, well, that would be amazing. But
Yeah,
No,
that
like
would
like
be
it's
amazing.
we're back at that no bullshit thing, asking honest questions. That's it.
really because if if you don't violate any Google and Apple guidelines, you can do it by yourself as well. And that's it. And do you
Right, you're gonna
you
build your
don't
own blockchain. Like you're gonna go through all that grief.
It's not
well,
that hard, man. It's definitely not
yeah.
hard.
I,
Setting up your own token and these things, it's not
hey
hard.
man, I do ads. I've never designed a game. I don't know how hard is it to
Well, but
Now we're
design
you
talking
said,
about
blockchain. Yeah,
blockchain, not game.
dude, you said this was the most interesting news. So come on.
I think so.
But
For me, it's basically saying that the mood in the stores, Apple and Google, is positive towards these things, and we are seeing first thing being improved.
yeah,
So we could expect more. That's the main message out of
sure.
it for
But
me.
like we'll see if the like X Hero example happens here as well. If they have traction afterwards, because of course, like nobody gave a fuck about X Hero until they hit like 7 million a month, and then they
Yeah,
banned it and took it out of the store. As soon as this vessel gets some traction,
Traction,
we'll
yeah.
see what happens. We'll see what happens because now I guess it's not that big yet.
yeah.
Of
No,
course.
no, no. They just released it, right? So I don't even
Yeah,
think they have any
Yeah.
clients
but
yet. So yeah,
I have to say it's definitely super smooth
Yeah.
regarding the
Yeah.
onboarding. Like,
yeah.
have to give it to Applovin here. Like, this was done very, very well, and you don't really feel you're going through the usual cryptocurrency friction.
Oh
Yeah.
man, if I need to connect MetaMask again, I
Yeah,
was like, I won't do it. It's just
Yeah.
it's so bad.
yeah. This
User
was very,
experience.
very, very smooth.
Anyway, let's see if someone can come on the podcast and tell us some more about it. But
Yeah, let's
that
see.
was it from me and Amplify. Machi,
Nice.
what are you teaching us this week?
If you've built a mobile game for iOS or Android, you've experienced user churn. You can win those users back, but it's getting more and more expensive, even more so to acquire totally new users. Enter cross-promotion with Addictive. By identifying your users likely to churn early, you can showcase another game in your portfolio before they leave forever, transforming a lost user into a new user, increasing your revenues. Learn more now at addictive.com.
Well, so I've been getting this interesting question all over again from developers when they are almost at the soft launch and they're trying to run first technical tests on Facebook. So we usually try to have like a checklist of things that you need to have ready just before you start your campaigns on Facebook. And there's a checklist I use, and there is like one thing that's always there, and nobody gave a fuck about it. And then we everything is delayed. So now I'm going to go through the checklist and explain what you need to do. So first, you need to start your own Facebook Business Manager or Business Center. You register all the bureaucracy bullshit. Have your company there. That's it. Create an ad account, which is important, and a fun page as well. It can be whatever fun page you want. It can be the game name. It can be company fun page. It can be whatever. You just need it for setting up the campaign. Then, and this is like most confusing for everybody, you need to have an app created on developers.facebook.com. This is like really like everybody think if they have the MMP, if it's a single app, AppSire or whoever, they don't need to do anything on the Facebook side. Well, it's wrong. Yes, you don't need to have a Facebook SDK if you have an MMP in place. That's fine because you connect these two things. But in order to connect Facebook to MMP, you need to have this Facebook app for your game created on developers.facebook.com. You need to add platforms, iOS or Android, both package names, and then you can integrate these to MMP because you need the app ID to be able to connect these two things. And this is like the most confusing part. Again, nobody knows how to do it, and it's super simple, really. You just go there, click five things, and then you have all done. Then you need to have events set up. So for start, you can only have like app launch or something else, but you need to have like engagement events in the future. And what are engagement events? Yeah, you might ask, right? Felix, what are the engagement events you think?
It's when you run an in-game engagement event.
Yeah, but what would be an engagement event as an example?
Uh,
Tutorial completed, for
yeah,
example. There
tutorial
you go.
completed, watching an ad, making IEP purchase, completing X amount of levels, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing the game.
Basically playing the game. But yeah, so for a few examples,
I didn't realize you were
tutorial.
going to be calling me out, man. Jesus.
I know. Well, it's you need to
Back to
be
school, huh?
prepared. You need to be prepared all the time. So, few examples. So, tutorial completed. Then you can have level 1, 5, 10, 50, whatever achieved or completed. Then, if you have a PvP game, you can have 5, 10, 11, 20, 50 PvP matches played or just matches played. Or even you can have like 20 level played. Ads watched as well, whatever number you can come up with, 1 or 5. I guess 10 ads wouldn't be that interesting, but still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different number of ads, different quality of players. Then for example, if you have trophies in the game, you can have trophies 100, 250, 500, whatever, any progression you can think about. But then, of course, ideally, you have purchase events integrated, ideally with the server receipt verification. So cheaters can fuck off because that's kind of like a big problem in some games. You suddenly see a lot of revenues, but then you check the store, either Apple or Google, and then you don't see anything because, well, cheaters. Hello, that's what can happen. And well, voila, you are good to go from the technical standpoint. Then wait a second. There's one more thing you need to connect to MMP from the Facebook developers console. So if you go to developers.facebook.com, you click on the settings on the left hand side. Then there is an option called Basic, where also the platform you are filling in. Then you scroll down, and then you see like install referer decryption key, which is app specific key to decrypt all the Facebook metadata, so you can actually see these campaigns in your MMP. Now you're good to go. But there's one more thing. There's always one more thing. Obviously, you need to have creatives ready. Ideally, like 3 to 5 concepts to start with all 4 sizes, so you can cover all the Facebook placements. So, think about that. If you are thinking about starting first campaigns in November, you should start your creative production already. Well, ideally yesterday. Or, well, you can give me a call and I can help. But jokes aside.
Oh, is it a joke that they can't come to you for help?
Well, they
Gold
can.
Apple shield.
They can. Yeah, they can. They can. Well, this is our podcast, so I can shield whatever I want. But no, like this is usually it's super easy, super quick. But then if you like miss one point of this checklist, then it just delays everything.
What happens if I screw up something? Money goes to toilet?
Money goes to toilet, or you won't be able to create a campaign at all. And then Also, there's one thing which is called the App-ads.txt. You were talking about, Felix, and this
Very
is
important.
very important also for the Facebook campaigns, because you, with this file, you actually confirm your ownership of your app.
Yep.
So that's important to have, because then you are, if you don't have it, you need to upload it to your website, I guess, right, Felix?
Yep.
And then you can confirm the ownership of your game, which is,
Yep.
I mean, it can take several days until you create this
Yeah,
upload
because it's
to
basically
your.
run by a crawler, and the crawler
Yeah,
doesn't run every day. Like the
yeah,
AdMob
exactly.
one does once a day, and then the Facebook one, I don't know how often that one runs.
Most probably once a day. I have no idea, to be honest, but it's usually like unnecessary, like new steps to do before you just launch the campaigns. And if you, it's always like, hey, well, we want to launch tomorrow. Yes, perfect. Do we have everything we need? Sure, 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 sure. We have, but then there's no app in Facebook developers. There's no app ads takes the file on the website. It's like, oh well, we can go live next week, I guess. Or it's at earliest. So yeah, it's definitely important.
Question:
Yeah.
Is TikTok this complicated to upload a game on as well, or is that like
Uh,
in TikTok's favor that is
no,
easier to?
it's a very similar thing. You need to create app events in the TikTok. Sometimes it takes even longer to actually verify the connection. So it's not always like really easy. But yeah, of course, you don't need to create the app on TikTok, but you need to have MMP for running the TikTok campaigns. Well, okay, there is a beta program. If you have TikTok SDK, you can run the self-attributing network as a TikTok, but you need to have MMP. With Facebook, you have Facebook SDK. You don't need MMP, so it's slightly different. So yeah,
I
it's
think
actually,
you
yeah,
should
you
print
need.
this out, man. You should write this out, man, and put on your blog.
Yeah, it's already in progress.
Oh, okay.
It's already in progress. There you go.
Okay.
There you
Um,
go.
so are we moving to the exciting news
Yeah,
coming
let's
from
yeah, yeah let's do
West?
it.
Is it
Let's
is
do
it
it.
another episode of This Week in Japan?
No,
Of course,
this
hundred
is
percent.
another episode of This Week in the West because of Japan.
Should I
Well,
get my
I hope
kimono?
we will
Should I
hear.
get my kimono?
Oh yeah, you should.
Yeah,
Yeah, I should get the
yeah,
kimono.
yeah, yeah, you missed it. Anyway, um, so what we were talking about today is actually Chart Champions. That was soft launch last Thursday by Small Giant Games, owned by Zynga in Romania, Hungary, and Czech Republic.
Take two,
Guys,
mate.
can you do Slovakia next time so I can actually,
Yeah, that would be
play?
helpful. Thank
I
you
mean, we can play,
beforehand.
but yeah, please,
Yeah, but somehow I managed to play it anyway.
of
Um,
course.
and the game is actually a clear follow-up on the Musume Pretty Derby game, which is the Japanese sensation that we shall do a small rundown and then compare the two. So, getting to the Japanese game, I know this will be a little bit interesting, let's say, but this game has been
Sorry,
killing it.
sorry, sorry, sorry. 1 second. I just saw the picture in the notes. I didn't see it before. This is amazing. Hello,
Yeah,
Rimo-san.
the game is amazing. So
Okay.
the short debrief on the game. For those who don't know it, it's pretty much called like the Japanese cyberpunk of mobile games because it was delayed like 3 times already. It started in announced in 2016 by Cygames. Then in
Wow.
2017,
Wow.
they announced that they would have 2018 release together with the anime, which is super successful. And in 2018, it released. It was super successful, but the game didn't release and it was delayed again to 2019. And into 2020, it was delayed again to 2021, which at February 24th, 2021, it launched to the Japan highest grossing mobile game into the charts.
Hey, can
So,
I have just like a quick comment? So why they
mhm.
delayed, in my opinion, is just because they wanted to build up the brand with the anime series and then just launch it, because then it immediately just skyrocketed to the top
um,
grossing chart.
Actually, they launched the game together with the second season of the anime. So I guess it was super pre-hype up. And this works great for the game,
Yeah,
actually, it seems. But yeah, they announced 3 delays in the meantime. Why not?
yeah.
People were pretty much expecting, like, Messiah by this point. So,
Well, of course, if
yeah,
they
let's
watch the
continue.
anime series, then of
Uh,
course, why not?
one very big note. This is a waifu game. for those who don't know, waifu game genre is very, very popular in Japan and in Asia. Similar games are something like Azure Lane or the one before, Kantai Collection, where pretty much all the heroes or gacha tokens are stylized girl-like characters, which
Like the
have deep
battleship,
focus
like
on
the
their
battleship game.
like the battleships that are girls, yeah, especially those, where these characters have a deep focus on their story relationship element with the player. So the narrative is very, very strong here. We shouldn't omit that, and of course they're all girls. This plays perfectly into the Japanese audience, like otaku audience especially, and it's very, very popular there. The game doesn't have a global release yet. It's not available even in English. You won't
Oh,
find it.
like
It's just in
which game doesn't have the
Uma
global
Musume
release?
Pretty
Uma Musume.
Derby.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's released only in Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea. I was checking some of the numbers. Those are pretty great. The D7 is 30% plus, according to our favorite data analytics tools, and D30 is 25% plus in Japan.
Looks like merge game.
I think this is even better than merge game.
What's the ad art? Like, what's the like? Do you have
Yeah,
some
well,
like
I will
revenue
get there.
metrics? Yeah. Okay.
We'll
yeah.
get there. The interesting part that I saw was that based on the demographic breakdown, it seems that this is like pretty much completely male driven, like 90%
Ooh.
plus.
Surprise!
No,
Surprise.
yeah, wow, what a
No.
But
surprise.
regarding
What?
the age
No
breakdown,
way.
No.
it's actually like 80% from 18 to 34. So
No, can't be.
The
Can't
lonely
be true.
generation plays games when they train horse girls. What?
anyway, the game released a set in February, and already in March, I think they had like very, very big download numbers, like 2 million per month, which is pretty high for these kind of high LTV gacha games in Japan. But the revenue wise, they went over like something like 85 million a month in those initial months, 85 million a month. And now they declined a little bit, but also they're releasing their Taiwan and South Korean version so that they bump it up a little bit. So currently there's something like between 60 to 50 million or month or even lower. But
Only
yeah, let's see.
Only in free markets.
Yeah, only in 3 markets. Yeah.
How this compared to Dragon Quest?
Well, it's the same formula, I would say.
All right.
Yeah, like Japanese players have just much bigger LTV than Western players. That's normal there. Like the mobile gaming is a different beast ingrained in their culture pretty much. And by the way, if you don't know gacha and this kind of a whole random role mechanic, they have these machines still littered around the streets. It's completely normal for them. There's like not that big of a backlash like here in West, where remember where Darth
It's not a
Vader was put
backlash,
into
nobody
gacha
cares.
and what?
No.
There were politicians talking about Darth Vader being
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
into gacha when they put in the Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah, so let's just say that it's normal way of playing games in Japan, and it's super successful. Regarding the game itself, it's actually a very very interesting design. I don't think so I ever seen some like this mashup before. It's a mashup of a roguelike and idle game where you train your horse girls and do races as some kind of a roguelike run in this kind of a season. The gameplay goes between you training the horse girl and pretty much increasing her stats, which are, by the way, super tactical. You have like 5 or 6 different types of girls, like where you have like the leader,
let me stop
the
you like that.
chaser.
What is a horse girl?
Yeah, man, it's like
It's according to the team, I think it's like famous legendary horses were reincarnated into the horse girls, or that's the team that they're
according
going with.
to the video you shared, it's like a next gen of people basically with like very strong
Ears,
stats,
horse tail, and very fast.
Okay.
And it's anime. What would you
It's
expect?
same with battleships, man. Like, how do you not have a problem with Enterprise being a battleships and it being a girl?
Nobody has any problem here.
I have
Yeah,
no
anyway.
problem with this. It's just a bit funny that you're saying horse girls, and it's just like,
exactly.
what is a horse girl?
The game is the roguelike nature of the game is actually very interesting because again, you pretty much take the character with you into this kind of one season and you try to push it as hard as possible, switching between the training part of the game and the racing part. Racing part is completely automated. You just look at the race, you can speed it up if you want, but there's like actual kind of a horse racing commentary, people cheering and so on. There's usually like a pop idol performance, because why not? It's Japan.
Yeah.
So you have this kind of element, and there's a very, very strong focus on story narrative content, where these have like unlockable stories. You talk with them. It's not that like dialogues are just running. There's actually like camera work and everything, very high visuals.
There's also 27 characters. One of them is called Vodka, by the way.
Yeah,
And
yeah. They're
then
called like horses.
Remo doesn't drink much.
I know. Yeah, that's why I'm bringing this up. But then there's like a Halo King and some like very different names that I can't even pronounce.
Horse names. They have these
Yes,
kind
of course.
So wait. So is Small Giant Games bringing this to the Western market?
Yes.
Interesting.
Ooh, there
Yeah,
you
let,
go.
let me talk about that a little bit. Yeah, just finishing the design. If you fail to meet the objective of the race that you are pretty much doing, then it's over, and you pretty much keep your rank, and you can still like use the leveled up character in PvP, but you pretty much need to start over. And then you either pick like the base for like a new girl, or different character. And the support cards are very important, which are pretty much giving you stats. Those are the ones that roll for. So gachas are both for the support cards and the girls themselves. Of course, they are completely the same in the anime. So they are the anime props up the game, and the game props up the anime as usual.
I might actually start watching the anime. I was looking at the trailer you shared, and this was amazing.
That anime can make an amazing thing out of everything, like the cooking anime we always talk about. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah,
Guys,
back to
we're
Small
gonna go to
Giant.
Tokyo Game Show, the three of us.
Oh
Next
yeah,
year.
yeah,
100% the three
Well,
of us.
he was there
Yeah.
already. He was there
Yeah,
already.
but let's go. I want to go with
Yeah.
Remo, 100%.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to go with Remo though.
Okay.
He will just won't stop talking about everything. And it's
Okay,
like, I'm
cool.
not
Yeah,
sure
okay,
if I'm
sorry, Remo.
prepared
I
for it.
keep interrupting you. Not cool.
Yeah, so Small Giant released the game this Thursday on Android. Again, very limited soft launch country list. The game seems to have the basic core loop in itself, but some of the features still are not unlocked, or I didn't get to it. I have played it for some time, but it seems that it's pretty similar. Some of the things that are different is that they have their kind of chart champions based on this kind of light-hearted fantasy. Those are both males and females, so it's definitely not waifu based.
Ooh,
I would say the theme is closer to something like Shrek, where you have this kind of a light-hearted fantasy
Shrek.
feel. Yeah, because you have this kind of medieval feel out of it, but there are still kind of things like
Okay.
goblins and humans and stuff around that. So I think this could be one of the problems here, because this game is definitely working in Japan because one
Yeah,
of the key
thanks
elements
to
is the
waifu,
waifu
right?
element and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
anime
okay.
element, and like the compatibility with the Japanese audience.
Mm.
Here, I didn't see any iteration on the other than like changing the theme completely. I didn't
Good.
see any like +1 yet.
But maybe that's the Western
Yeah,
iteration.
of course, that could work, of course.
Yeah.
Because the game is pretty complex to begin with. Like just the tutorial, when I was going through the Small Giant game, was pretty complex, because you need to understand like a completely new form of gameplay, where the gameplay is pretty much just the training combo and you deciding which abilities to train, because you have limited amount of energy between the races and you need to spend it wisely, and then that's just the race, which is you just look at it, it's nice visual, that's it. So I guess this is according to the Small Giant playbook, because if you look into the past, they took Puzzles and Dragons and turned them into Empires and Puzzles very successfully through very, very thorough game design iteration, which the game was nicely simplified and snackable for Western audience and are making millions. So
Yeah.
that's like great props to that thing. The question is if they will be able to pull this off with this type of a game without the anime waifu aspect. Because with Puzzle and Dragons, I get it that the game is just kind of similar, but it's simplified to the degree that it still works pretty well and it's very engaging. Here, the anime and waifu part of the game is one of the most engaging things, I think, because even comparing it to something like Azure Lane, which is the battleship waifu game, people are playing that game because they like the
Because of
battleships,
waifu.
the collection aspect and the
Yeah.
story aspect of it. They don't really want to have that big stats, and the game is pretty easy if you get into the end game. You're just playing it because they're releasing new ships, you want to collect them. So I don't know if they can successfully iterate on this based on game design, or they will like have some aces up their sleeves. But yeah, I will watch this
They have. I
closely.
know what they're going to do. They're going to release an anime on Netflix
Maybe.
just before the the global launch.
Starring
Yeah,
Auntie.
but it's really interesting. I'm always kind of glad that somebody is trying this kind of iteration, or like even being able to play the game and like understand the gameplay fully, because as I said, like Uma Musume doesn't even have like an English release, so it's kind of hard if you want to play it through like a VPN and then the Japanese dictionary on all the buttons. So yeah,
No worry,
props to
man.
that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward what will come out of it. It's definitely very, very brave kind of a undertaking here.
No, but if like if you think about it, they've done it like you said before with the Puzzle and Dragons. Now with Uma Musume Pretty Derby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the
to
gameplay
this as well.
definitely works. The question is if they will be able to find the audience here, because like they did with their puzzle combat game, where at the end of the soft launch they changed the game from pure army into against zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. That will work here.
Well, it won't. Most probably.
Yeah.
It won't.
I'm really interested to play this. Actually, I'm going to ask for a test flight or something from someone.
Yeah.
I can give
please
you APK.
ask for me as well.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Cool.
Nice. Okay, perfect. Well,
Sweet.
looking forward to see more of Charge Champions in the next months. Because, well, if this is a start of the soft launch, then we will most probably see a lot of different, iterations and evolutions of this game. And with that, I guess that's it for today.
Bye.
Perfect.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.